We've got a really fun show planned out for everyone today, but I want to see if we can reach 17,200 subscribers. Why that number? Because we're 73 subs away. Who wore number 73? Browns legend Joe Thomas. And Joe Thomas, I really believe, wants you to subscribe Uncle Sam style. So get the best Browns YouTube coverage right here at the Cleveland Browns Report. Plus, it's all free, all off season long. So don't miss a thing when you hit that sub button. Here's what we got on tap for everyone today. A Jerry Jeudy trade. Is it possible? This has been the biggest topic, in my opinion, on Browns Twitter when it comes to trading for a wide receiver. I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's possible. Plus, we got some more Brandin Cooks trade buzz to hit on, so plenty of ground to cover on today's show. But let's start things off with the Jerry Jeudy trade segment. So this all started before this tweet came out from Browns Bot, which, if you're unfamiliar, is a really good follow on Twitter. But he is just one of many people who have suggested trading for Jerry Jeudy. And we've talked about it before on the show, and I'm just going to continue to say it. As fun as it would be, it's just not possible. And I'm usually never in the business of saying impossible, because we know in the NFL anything is possible. But this one feels really like a far stretch. And here's why. One, I'm not against the idea of trading for Jeudy. I think Jeudy would be great on this offense. I like Jerry Jeudy as a player. I would love for him to end up for the Cleveland Browns. But the Browns just don't have the ammunition to pull off the trade. That's why I'm sort of the rain cloud when it comes to trading for Jerry Jeudy, because I don't think they have the means to get it done. Why do I think that? Well, let's go back in time a little bit with this tweet here from Benjamin Albright, who, if you don't know him, he's an NFL and Broncos reporter who was very wrong on Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland, but he's very right on a lot of things, and he's well tapped in with Denver. Now, back in November, right after the trade deadline passed, he tweeted out, "For the record, the Packers did check in on wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, but weren't close to offering what would have been needed." Now, the rumor is that Denver was looking for a second and one more pick. I think probably a second and a fourth. Otherwise, if it was a fifth or later, I'm sure Green Bay would have done it. So let's pencil in Denver wanted a second and a fourth. And the Packers, other teams, didn't want to offer that much. Well, fast forward now, and post-trade deadline, Jerry Jeudy's stock, his value, has only gone up in my opinion. Look at the way Jeudy ended the 2022 season. His last 6 games, 37 grabs for 523 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you couldn't get him for a second rounder before those numbers, you're not going to get him for a second rounder now. I think it's going to cost a first rounder to land Jerry Jeudy, something Cleveland does not have for this year or next year. So that's why I come crashing down on the idea of trading for Jeudy, is because you couldn't get him for just a second before. Denver definitely wants more for him now since he ended the year on a high note, and Cleveland can't offer a first. And if the Broncos are interested in, changing up personnel because this guy is the new head coach, Sean Payton, which I fully in the camp of, Sean Payton might come in there and shake things up a little bit and move some players around. I just don't think those players will include Jerry Jeudy. In my opinion, the guys in Denver who are on the table, who could be moved, some potential trade targets for the Broncos. What about Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Garrett Bowles? There's been rumors that they are interested in trading their starting left tackle. Ronald Darby, their cornerback, their CB2. Those are guys I think that fit the criteria or fit what people are looking for. And Denver, Sean Payton, they're going to shake things up. They need draft picks. That means we can get Jerry Jeudy. Not quite. It means you can get a lot of players, starting players. But I think guys like Jerry Jeudy, Patrick Surtain, and Justin Simmons are off the table for the Broncos. Now, we've got more on this topic and conversation to get to in just a second. But today's Cleveland Browns Report is sponsored by Athletic Greens. Now, I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day because I can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition when I go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I recently gave AG1 a try because I hated taking pills and vitamins and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. It really helps me with starting my day on the right foot and getting into a healthier lifestyle. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. All I do is just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water, and I drink it first thing in the morning, and it's done. I also really like that it costs less than $3 a day, which, if you ask me, is pretty good. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, so win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. I put that link for everyone, by the way, in the comments and the description of today's show. So make sure you pay them a visit, and that way you can get the best start to your day thanks to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. To put sort of a bow on the Jerry Jeudy trade segment, after a long back and forth with Brownsbot this morning on Twitter about trading for Jeudy, I thought this tweet here was really interesting, what he said. And that was, he was talking about, Bradley Chubb got traded. Why can't Jerry Jeudy get traded? And he said, I value Chubb higher than Jeudy, so my point is that it would be less to get Jeudy. And I agree, it's not this very likely scenario. And that's fine. I am the CEO of it's not likely, but we can still talk about it. But if we traded 2/3 and JOK, I had never really entertained the idea of trading Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. One, he seems like an ascending player. I'm a big fan of 28. Plus, got him under his rookie contract for 2 more seasons. So, starting caliber player on your defense for cheap. Right now, Cleveland's not really in the position to be moving on from starting players who don't cost them a lot of money. But when it comes to 2/3, again, I don't think that would be enough. If Denver wouldn't do it for a second, my guess is they want a first, not 2/3 and a starter. And JOK is good, but if Denver's trading Jerry Jeudy, they're probably looking to really reset despite having Russell Wilson. And I don't think 2/3 is the best way to go about that. But I want to know from you guys, when it comes to just trading JOK, where do we stand on this? How do we feel? T for trade or P for pass? I like JOK. I'm putting P for pass in the comments section below, but I want you guys watching right now to give me your takes down in the comment section. Now, JOK in 2 seasons so far for the Browns, we can show his stats up in just a second, has been, in my opinion, a really good linebacker. I'm a big fan of the way his play style, his speed, his athleticism. Sure, he's a bit undersized, but I don't mind. 146 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 8 pass breakups. He does a little bit of everything, and the guy's just a football player. The guy's just fun to watch. I know not everyone is as high as him as I or high on him as I am, but I'm a big fan of 28. The injuries are a bit concerning. 2 years in a row now, missing a good chunk of time due to injuries. They put him on IR for the last third of the season or so when it felt like they were really out of the playoff race, which I think was more a sign of we're likely done. We don't need him back for meaningless football, quote unquote, for the last week or 2 of the season. I don't want to trade him. If I had a choice, I don't want to trade JOK. Now, the next trade rumor on today's show revolves around Brandin Cooks. This has been a very popular trade target for the Cleveland Browns. We got a new wrinkle to this here. So, Bleacher Report, they put out an article just the other day with some trade ideas that make teams Super Bowl contenders. And for the Browns, they didn't do it for every team, but they included the Browns, and they had Brandin Cooks going to Cleveland to get the Browns to that Super Bowl status potentially. Now, I can see why Brandin Cooks would make sense. The Browns are in a win-now mode, which, if that's the situation, I could see Andrew Berry going should we take our 3rd rounder and draft a rookie receiver, hope he develops nicely, or take it, trade it for Brandin Cooks. We know what we're getting, whereas with the rookie, there is always a little bit of unpredictability. Plus, we know he's got a connection with Deshaun Watson. So if I had to think, well, it's not my idea. Here is Bleacher Report's trade idea. This is right from the folks at Bleacher Report. They suggested a 3rd-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick next year for Brandin Cooks. 2/3. I don't know, Jim. I don't know. Let's look at the Browns' 2023 draft picks and see what losing 2/3 would do for Cleveland. One, if we look at this upcoming draft in 2 months or so, if you trade away that 3rd-round pick, well, then you've got a 2nd and 2/4, which that's not the worst in the world. There's teams like the Vikings only have 4 picks in this upcoming draft, believe it or not. But moving out from a 2nd, we'll look at in just a second. Let's first go right to the horse's mouth, though. Here's what Alex Ballantyne from Bleacher Report said about this. Bringing in a legitimate number 2 receiver who could push Donovan Peoples-Jones to the number 3 role would be ideal. Brandin Cooks is a perfect fit. He has an established rapport with Watson. The last time they played together was in 2020, and Cooks posted 1,150 yards and 6 touchdowns on 81 receptions. His ability to take the top off defenses fits well with Chubb's hard-nosed running style and Cooper's precise route running. Now, when we look at Brandin Cooks' stats from the last couple of seasons here, you can see that Cooks in 2022, bit of a down season, just 699 yards. But in 2021, over 1,000. Same for 2020. In 2020, he played 15 games with Watson, hauling in 6 touchdowns. So there's clearly a repertoire between Cooks and Watson. Some familiarity is what I'm looking for. So would you do this trade? 2/3 for Brandin Cooks. A 3rd rounder this year and a 3rd round in 2024. If I'm Andrew Berry, listen, I can get behind trading for Cooks, giving up 1 3rd-round pick, but giving up a 2nd, 3rd, that's where I probably go. That's a bit too far for a receiver that's over 30 years old, and you're not going to have for the next 4 or 5 seasons most likely. And then you're really pushing your chips into the middle of the table of it's 2023 or bust. I don't think it has to be 2023 or bust. It would be if Deshaun Watson was 36 years old. He's not. The goal of trading for him was that you have your franchise quarterback for 10 plus years. It doesn't have to all be on this season, okay? And if you were to move on from that 2024 3rd-round pick, well, let's look at the Browns' 2024 draft picks. If you trade away that 3rd, that leaves you with a 2nd and 2/5, 5 picks altogether. They could make some trades and bring some picks back, but you're really stretching yourself thin if that's the case. And so that's why I'm thinking we have to think a little bit for the future. And only having a 2nd and 2/5 going into 2024, that makes me nervous. If it's not a Lombardi trophy being hoisted after 2023, it could backfire. Before we go, it's time for our random Browns player of the day. This one comes in from Paul Kingsley, who typed away in the comment section. Running back Eric Metcalf played with the Browns from 1989 to 1994. He had a lot of great upside in special teams. He was an awesome kick and punt returner and whatnot. A bit of a scat back, a do-it-all guy. Definitely a random Browns player. So shout out to Paul for commenting that below. Comment a random Browns player, and I'll pick a random one for the next video. That's going to do it for us on today's show. I appreciate everyone who took time out of their day and made us a part of it. We'll see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.